Hi everyone, in this video you will learn about the MGX-KSM liquidity bootstrapping event. I'm Tommy, I'm the communications lead of Mangata and I will guide you through the tour. We are going to look at the goals of the liquidity bootstrapping event, the exact mechanics, the timeline, and you will get a visual guide through the user interface. What are the goals of the liquidity bootstrapping event? In general, you have two major goals, and that is that you want to ensure deep liquidity to increase the price stability of the tokens. For bootstrapping new tokens, for example, MGX in this case, there is also the function of discovering the price of MGX. Before there is any liquidity pool that has MGX, the price is not known, and so this will also serve the function of price discovery. We also thought about ways to incentivize MGX provision into the pool to increase the depth and make sure that KSM providers get a good allocation. And finally, we want to give a chance to initial supporters to get an allocation that is good enough by providing a ratio cap. So how is it going to work exactly? The MGX-KSM pool is going to get bootstrapped for 1 week. That means that no trading is possible until the bootstrap phase is complete. Tokens are going to get provided into the liquidity pool. So you're going to see MGX on one side and KSM on the other side. And you're going to be able to provide them individually. So you can provide just MGX, just KSM, or if you're going to provide both, you first provide MGX, for example, and then KSM. There will be a ratio cap, and that means that the amount of KSM is limited by the amount of MGX provided. I'm going to explain this in a minute. And after the bootstrap, LP tokens have to be claimed. So if you participate in the bootstrap, at the end of the bootstrap, you have to visit the user interface again, go through the claims process, and then activate them for liquidity mining if you want. To the timeline. So on the June 8th, Wednesday, the token generation event is going to happen, and crowd loan rewards will be distributed. Crowd loan rewards initially will be about 20% liquid, 21% liquid, and the rest will be vesting over the year. But the immediately available amount of 21% can be used for the bootstrap. We are also going to enable KSM transfers on that day from Kusama to Mangata X. And this is an important detail: if you don't have MGX yet, you can use KSM as network fee on Mangata X also. Then between June 8th and June 15th, so Wednesday to Wednesday, the MGX-KSM liquidity bootstrapping event is going to happen, and it is going to happen in 2 phases. First, there is the whitelist period. Whitelist period is designed for users that are early supporters of Mangata and Mangata X, and they get a dedicated phase of 3 days where anyone can contribute MGX, but only whitelist users can contribute KSM. And then after those 3 days, there will be the public period of 4 days where everyone can contribute any token. And together those are the 7 days of the liquidity bootstrapping event. And then on the 15th of June, trading is going to begin. And the next priority very likely is going to be that we're going to open channels to other parachains and enable trading of other tokens. What is the ratio cap? So the primary idea of the ratio cap is to give early supporters a chance to get a good MGX allocation, and that means that there should be a limit of how much KSM can be contributed, or said in another way, there is a minimum allocation of MGX per KSM provisioned. So MGX can be contributed to the bootstrap at any time, but KSM can only be contributed when the ratio is below the cap. The ratio cap will be determined based on the Mangata valuation of $60 million and the current KSM price. And this will be announced just ahead of the bootstrap. At this point in time, we think that it is likely that the ratio cap is going to be between 1,000 to 1 and 2,000 to 1. Let's take a short look at the rewards and risks of participating in a liquidity bootstrapping event. So, according to the Mangata X tokenomics, 1 billion MGX tokens are going to get minted with the token generation event. And then you see here the biggest contributors to inflation, which are going to be 300 million MGX per year for liquidity mining incentives, LP rewards, and 240 million MGX per year for proof of liquidity rewards. And resulting from this and the amount of MGX in the first pool, you can see the APR that is to be expected as long as there is only a single pool at Mangata X. So this is being called first pool APR in this sheet here, in this table here, because we cannot extrapolate how the APR will develop once more and more pools are being added to the system. You have to do additional calculations to this, but this is the first pool APR depending on how much MGX is going to be contributed to the first liquidity pool. Let's take an example. Let's assume that 250 million MGX are going to be contributed to the liquidity bootstrap. Then just providing liquidity and participating in liquidity mining would yield 60% APR for that time being. If a user would also be participating at the same time in proof of liquidity, APR would go to 98.4%. And if that same person would also be running a node, APR would go up to 108%. If you want to get more details on that, feel free to reach out via our social channels. What about the risks? Everyone should get informed about the risks of liquidity provision. We have seen this in a lot of our user interviews. If you are participating in liquidity bootstrapping for the first time, please make sure to pay special attention here. So you would be assuming the risks of liquidity provision, and these are that you have all the risks of underlying tokens. So if at any point you provide liquidity and any of the underlying tokens is subject to a hack, for example, this would also affect the liquidity position. And you are having impermanent loss risk. Impermanent loss risk is important to understand, and there are a lot of resources on the web that explain it. We also provide our resources at the end of the video. Please make sure to get informed about impermanent loss risk. It is important. You have the risk of the bootstrapping event itself, which is that you are giving up tokens in exchange for liquidity at the end of the bootstrap. But the ratio at the end of the bootstrap is what will determine the position. And at the beginning, at the end of bootstrap and the beginning of trading, this will be the final position, the final ratio that the liquidity will start out with. And it cannot be known in advance. It can only be, during the bootstrap, you can only see the current ratio, and it is not the final ratio. So since the ratio cannot be known in advance, users who contribute to the bootstrap are essentially committing to the ratio at the end of the bootstrap for the LP position. This is a message especially for people who are new to liquidity provision. Make sure to get properly informed about the topics of liquidity provision, bootstrapping, and impermanent loss, and only invest small portions that help you to learn. We have seen this from previous bootstrapping events at other exchanges, that people that were new to this type of investing didn't understand all of the consequences and then had unhappy experiences. We want that everyone who participates in the process has a good experience, and that means that you should properly inform yourself. And in all cases, never invest more than you can afford to lose. Okay, now let me take you through the user journey. What is the user experience and the user interface going to be? You are going to see a few screenshots of the Bootstrapping user interface as it was a few days ago during development and during the final testing. You will see there are two main points to mention. First of all the numbers you see are examples. They are not the numbers that you have to assume are going to be there in the final event. And number two, you will see the mention of MKSM and MGA as token tickers. These are development versions. In the final release, you're going to see the tickers MGX and KSM. Okay, now let me take you through the screenshots. So you're beginning the event here and you see the screen here that allows you to continue to the Bootstrap, and you see this nice possibility here to see a video, which could be the video that you're seeing right now. Then you're able to connect to your wallet. You will see the available options here during the Bootstrap. It's possible that there are more options. You are connecting your wallet and then you will see the available accounts. You select the account and then you're basically connected to that account. At the left side, at the bottom, you see all the tokens that you're having. So that would be your MGX and KSM. You also see the possibility at the top left to deposit and withdraw tokens to the network. And in the center left, you see the current ratio of the Bootstrap, and it will be updating at regular intervals, and you also see the ratio cap. In the center of the screen, you see the possibility to participate in a Bootstrap. So in the center, you can see how many tokens have already been contributed in the form of KSM and in the form of MGX tokens. And depending on the stage of the Bootstrap and if you're whitelisted or not, you will see one or both of these options to be enabled. Okay, let's imagine you want to contribute to the Bootstrap. You will be selecting, for example, join the Bootstrap with MGX tokens, and this allows you to now enter the amount of MGX tokens that you want to provision. Once you enter a number here, you will see more information about what is actually going to happen. So also during the Bootstrap, you will see additional information about how your liquidity position will develop. And this should be in line with all the information that you already learned. And then there are two checkboxes. I understand the process of the Bootstrap. So you have to confirm that you understand what you're doing, and also that you're not a US citizen. Because of legal reasons, US citizens are not allowed to participate in the event on our frontend. Then you will be signing the transaction as you're used to with your wallet. And once the transaction is being confirmed to the blockchain, you will see the success message. Then when you return back to the original screen, you will see your Bootstrap position, so how much MGX and KSM you have contributed. And you can also expand the section here on the top, which gives you even more information about what is actually happening with your position. So it helps you to get a better understanding of the development of the Bootstrap. Now, at latest when the public period begins, you will also be able to participate with KSM, or you whitelisted, then you will be able to participate earlier. And the experience is just the same. You contribute your KSM position, and then right after participating, you will get back to the screen that shows you how this contribution affected your position. One last piece of information. If at any point in time the ratio cap is hit, you will see that the limit is reached and the bar goes red, which also shows you that 0 KSM are available for contributions. In this case, you would have to wait that more MGX is getting contributed to the pool so that you would be able to contribute with KSM. Now, if you have any more questions, we can refer you to this guide here that we wrote, and we are continually updating it with more information. The article is linked at the bottom of this video. It's the MGX-KSM Liquidity Bootstrapping Event Guide, and it has a full explanation of the process, frequently asked questions, and also a visual guide to the whole event. If you want to learn more about how DEXs work, we have two guides available for you. So on the Liquidity Bootstrapping event, but also DEX Basics and Liquidity Basics, they are on our YouTube channel. You can look them up right here if you go to the video sections, and of course subscribe to our channel. And if you want to learn even more and have more questions, visit our socials. We highly invite you to our Discord channel. It's where the most of our community is happening. But you of course can also join Telegram and Twitter. We will link it down below in the description. And of course you can subscribe to the newsletter, which will inform you about all the big events of Mangata and Mangata X. That's it for our video today. May the air will bless you with infinite rewards. Thank you and goodbye.